There's a potential interesting situation brewing with Sabu as he's booked for both New Japan and an ECW show on the same night. Latest word is that Sabu will likely have to miss the ECW show. Surely this won't become anything big.
No, there's not a great promo out there about this or anything from Paul Heyman. No.
Well, about that, time comes at you fast. Sabu was fired from ECW in mid-April after no-showing an event. It was well known within the industry that New Japan had booked Sabu for a show the same day as an ECW show. Sabu had agreed to work both shows, believing falsely that because of the time difference, he could hop on a plane and immediately after the Japan show make it back for the ECW show, which would have been impossible. Because it's a 19-hour flight.
You remember that episode of Friends where Chandler was working in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
And he came back and Joey's like, wait, how'd you get here so fast? I guess it's like a 3-hour flight. And Chandler's like, yeah, but you're forgetting about the 3-hour time difference. Ah, okay. So it's like, you think like a 19-hour flight, but a huge time difference, that gets erased. Is that what you thought?
I guess. Well, they're 12 hours ahead over there, so I'll technically be moving back in time.
Yeah. I even have time to catch a nap at that hotel they were banned at.
Right. Well, he got banned from the Marriott. He's got to go to the Super 8. When he found out that he couldn't do that...
Oh, my God. He says Super 8. Holy crap.
I've only been to like 1 or 2 Super 8s in my entire life. I try to avoid them, but that's the only one I could think of. When he found out that he couldn't do that, he told New Japan Pro Wrestling that he had already agreed to work the ECW show. They told him to get out of that show because the New Japan show was planned to set him up for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title shot at next month's huge Fukuoka Dome show. I think I pronounced that right. Fukuoka. Excuse me. Whatever. I don't Japanese, bro.
Well, who the fuck is this guy?
Paul Heyman refused to budge since he'd already promoted Sabu as working the main event of a heavily hyped 3-way dance show, arguably the biggest show in ECW's history to date. Sabu was basically in a position where he knew he screwed up by double booking himself and was told by both sides that if he no-showed, he would be fired. According to Paul Heyman, Sabu had assured him that he was going to still find a way to make the ECW show, leading them to believe that he was going to miss the New Japan show. It wasn't until 2 days before the ECW show when they tried to call Sabu and got an answering machine message saying that he had left for Japan, and they realized that he was going to bail on them.
Okay, first of all, what a mess.
Right. And answering machine? This really is 95.
Second of all, did they at least pay him more than ECW?
I
assume they did.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard Japan gives pretty good payoffs, so I don't know, man. Wow. Quote, he gave me his word, so I built the TV show around it, the 3-way dance match, said Heyman. Quote, he left me with no other option regarding him, and that's really a shame. But I have no choice. If I let this go, I have no control of my dressing room. I lose control of my dressing room, and once that happens, the ball game is over. End quote. I mean, he's not wrong.
I would like to talk about the irony of someone breaking a word to Paul Heyman.
Yeah, right. How the turntables, as Michael Scott would say. At the ECW show, Paul Heyman opened by breaking kayfabe and giving a long speech using several wrestlers' real names and talking about how hard they work for the fans. Quote, Sabu gave us a commitment and then decided that because he was offered more money on a weekly basis, he will not give you what you paid to see, and decided not to give me the courtesy of a phone call when he swore to God on Sunday night that before we all went into production to give you that Tuesday night TV show, that if you're going to f*** the audience because you are the star of this promotion, to let me know, and he said, I'll be there. Then on Thursday, he tells me and Taz and 911 and anyone who would call his answering machine that he is on his way to Japan. You people, the audience of ECW, and all the stars within have been fucked and were deemed not important enough to see performed a match. I'm sorry, I'm transcribing this, so it's like, I don't know if he actually said that, but it's coming out weird. Anyway, performed a match that you have been waiting to see since Christmas for. Wow, there's a lot to break down here. Anyway, you voted with your dollars to see him. And
I haven't talking about Christmas, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. And you voted with your dollars to see him, and Sabu decided to go to Japan. And, quote, at this point, the crowd began chanting, fuck Sabu. And Heyman responded, quote, you're right, fuck him. And then he told the fans to stick around through the first half of the show on us. And at intermission, if you're upset about Sabu not appearing, you can still get a full refund. The crowd continued to chant fuck Sabu throughout the show.
Okay, my first thing about this is I'm pretty sure he didn't swear to God, he swore to Allah.
Yeah, I don't know his religious
well, you can kind of assume, can't you? You think?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying.
Might just be a gimmick like Muhammad Hassan.
And second, well, we know how long this is going to last. He's going to be back very soon.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll cover that as well. Well, Sabu has said that he felt that at this point in his career, he had to take the big money New Japan offer, and said that he's also been unhappy about the direction of ECW, mostly with all the other wrestlers doing a hardcore style, which he feels is his gimmick. I mean, it's kind of in the name of the promotion, but whatever. He also claims that there is a prestige to wrestling in Japan and calls ECW a bullshit style of wrestling.
You said a mouthful.
This would be like if Hulk Hogan said that Jim Duggan is just too damn proud to be American. This doesn't make any sense. This isn't Lou Thez talking about how the industry went to shit. This is Sabu talking about how ECW is too hardcore.
Man.
Like, what?
This is like when that story that broke that Charles Manson says that Scientologists are weird. I'm like, man, you know, it's like, well, there's,
good Lord,
do that with what you will, but it's the same thing, you know.
Yeah,
of course, you know, no one here is a killer or anything like that, of course, but it's just like if someone that's like into weird stuff says that that's too much for them, I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. It's like, what the hell? It's all of this. Keep in mind, like, looking forward into the future, he would go to wrestle for XPW, which was even worse. And he's talking about, there's a prestige in Japan, which in certain promotions, yeah, sure. But he also went to wrestle for FMW. Which,
well, you know, Japan will buy your house, FMW buy the beer. So,
wow. Yeah, FMW blew up their rings.
Yeah.
I just, whatever. Sabu says that everything in ECW
I feel like he's a little bipolar at this point. Like, doesn't know what the hell he wants.
Right. Sabu says that everything in ECW is an angle, and he likes competitive matches with clean finishes. Does he?
This is news to me.
Right? Sabu admits that he was wrong to double book himself, but he said that the way that Paul Heyman buried him at the show was even more wrong. I don't know about even more wrong, but I mean, it wasn't great.
Look, I'm sorry, but when you screw over a promoter like that and fans, I'm going to have to side with Heyman on this one.
Yeah. It's more wrong for him to bury me for, doing something crappy. Why? Whatever.
I should be allowed to do this. Get the hell out.
I know.
I'm not saying it's okay, but if like you're like Hulk Hogan or something like that back then, maybe you got some pull. You're Sabu, dude.
Yeah, you can't exactly. That's not going to work for me, brother. Out of this one, I'm still hung up on the. Well, there's a prestige to Japan. By the way, hand me that chair. Like, what? To wrap this up, though, Sabu has had meetings with Eric Bischoff and is still in talks to work occasional shows for WCW while keeping his New Japan commitments. As for the Japan show, Sabu worked it and ended up breaking his ankle, but isn't expected to miss any bookings.
The
Because
irony.
of course not. Right. Mother of God.